Hello traders and welcome to another video review. Today is Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. Let's take a look at the economic calendar for today. RBA meeting minutes were issued at 1:30. That was the only one event during the Asian session. We got some data ahead of us, maybe not too many, but it is always worth to mention them. ECB Supervisory Board member Totay will give a speech at 9:40. ECB Elderson will speech at 11, and at 2 o'clock we got Bank of England MPC member Pill will give a speech as well. That's about the speeches. What do we have here? Housing starts data from Canada scheduled for release at 2:15. At 2:30 we got import price index, export price index data from the US, industrial production from the US as well at 3:15. Then we got global daily trade price index at 4 o'clock from New Zealand, factory orders at 4 o'clock from the US, and then federal budget balance at 7 o'clock from the US. Tick net long-term transactions at 10. 30 minutes later we got API weekly crude oil stock data release, and at 11:15 we got PPI input from the New Zealand. So definitely very busy second part of our trading day. So the US session and the London session is almost non-event. So without any further ado, let's switch to the charts. We start with Bitcoin. Why we start with the Bitcoin? Because it is moving lower and lower. We almost hit our target. Look at this, 88,512. If we switch to the daily time frame chart, we can see that we enter extremely oversold market conditions, and this level here that we mentioned is the technical support from the March 24th and the April the 2nd. We are definitely below 100 periods moving average. It's obvious. However, we almost hit our target. The target is of course the technical support, which is kind of important because this technical support was violated, broken basically after the market went up and made eventually after a few months new all-time high. So what do we expect here? After this movement to the extremely oversold conditions on a daily time frame chart, now we will zoom out to see what we can expect. Last time we hit extremely oversold conditions was the end of the February, beginning of the March 2025, from the levels of 77,000, 78,000. Then momentum picked up significantly higher up towards 94,000. So that was nice rally from the extremely oversold conditions. Then we start again moving lower. However, new low was made, marginal new low. Then we went up again, then another new low was made, and definitely this situation was our bullish divergence. New local lows and no new low on the RSI. So when we started to trend higher, Bitcoin took no prisoners and traded higher towards the extremely overbought conditions like no tomorrow. So what we can expect? First, extremely oversold conditions on a daily time frame chart since end of the February, and last time they resulted in an immediate few days movement to the upside. I think it was almost 15,000 to the upside, right? What we should then expect here is quite simple. We should expect a rally to the upside towards the nearest technical resistance. The nearest technical resistance, let me just move my my arrow here. The nearest technical resistance is located here at 98,000, so 400, almost $100,000. So we should test this level within the next few days. There is of course bullish divergence on a 4-hour time frame chart into the extremely oversold conditions. So the situation is now a little bit in favor for the short-term time period for the bulls. Some sort of the pullback is coming. Euro dollar. Euro dollar for our time frame chart doesn't do much. We went down after the after making this correction to the upside, almost equal to the previous correction. We went down towards the 100 periods moving average at 1.1578 to test it, and the momentum dropped towards the level of 47 points, so just below the level of 50. And right now we are testing the local technical resistance at 1.1605. Euro dollar doesn't do much, but that's a typical situation for the market, which is actually not really involved in any sort of the breakout or trend continuation behavior. Cable. cable keeps consolidating inside of the narrow zone. Nothing is going on here. We are consolidating around the 100 periods moving average. Boring, boring, boring. Nothing is going on. US dollar versus the Japanese yen. Now that's a completely different story, because the US dollar tested the 100 periods moving average and bounced yet again significantly higher here towards 155.38. So that's the swing high and the local high and the technical resistance. Please notice that we have a consecutive higher highs, consecutive higher lows into the level of 63 points on a 4-hour time frame chart RSI. So this is not definitely extremely overbought market. Nevertheless, it's starting to look like a wedge. Let me just stop pretend that I don't see it, and with this, okay, that might be some kind of a breakout, maybe this, okay, newest data only. This is the situation we are dealing with. Maybe it's just my imagination, maybe it's just my point of view, but I can see, okay, this is not a channel, but maybe if we can do something like this, you can see that, well, some sort of the wedge is being built right now on the US dollar versus the Japanese yen. Please remember, after the wedge is done, this is the rising wedge, so we should see downside breakout. Very, very strong downside breakout. Let's take a look at the S&P 500. On the 4-hour time frame chart, S&P 500 keeps testing the lows from the November 7th, and just recently we broke below this level. So let me just move it a little bit lower so you guys can see. There you go. We are marking the extremes. 6,626 local low, 6,615, so not that bad whatsoever. Nevertheless, it still looks like we are trading inside of this very narrow zone here. We are below the 100 piece moving average. Nevertheless, well, little bit too much from the bearish pressure. Next target for bells is 6,554 and can be reached out anytime soon in order to test it. So this one is done. Now this swing low is being on our radar, on our sonar, to see what is going on here. Obviously, to the upside, the level of 6,764 is the major one, with the local extreme high at 6,779 on the breakout above this level might open the road towards the swing high from the November 12th, 6,175, and then eventually the swing high, the last swing high. Right, gold keeps making progress to the downside. Actually, we broke below the 100 periods moving average, so right now we are going to remove this one. No, this one stays here. This one stays here. This one is now technical resistance, so it's red again. And well, this one is technical resistance again. So all of the levels that used to be support now are going to be the resistance, including 4,042, the recent one. Next target is, let me just get my arrow down. There you go, and arrow up. Here it is. This is the level. Level of 3,886, low from the October 28th, 2025. So with that negative momentum and that bearish pressure, we might see movement to the downside that can accelerate once again very, very shortly. So please stay focused, stay vigilant, as we don't have any right now any evidence that the market wants to, and clues that the market wants to go higher. Moreover, this looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, 5 ways to the downside. So this is, if this is impulsive cycle, then the situation on gold might be a little bit more difficult, because we might see more downside soon in form of the corrective movement. If we place some sort of the Elliott wave labeling here, where that's free wave to the downside for sure, this is some complex movement to the upside, maybe some irregular flat, but this is definitely 5 wave to the downside, including this characteristic wave for triangle. So gold prices looking bearish in the short term, because in the long term there is still a very big bullish pressure on the prices of gold. That's everything from me for today. Thank you very much for watching this analysis, and I hope I see you guys next time. Take care and bye bye.